Good evening, Taurus. I'm the Mystic Kitten. My name is Michelle. I'm going to do a simple spread for you tonight to give you an idea of where you are at now and where you're going to be moving into March 2020. This is a general reading, so it cannot resonate with everyone. If this isn't your story, please look at your other signs in your suns and moons and Venus. If this does resonate, please make sure to like, subscribe, and share. As well as if you're looking for a reading, you can find me on Facebook on my page, The Mystic Kitten. So, let's see what the cards have to say for Taurus. Wow, there's a lot of similar stories coming out for right now. All right, Taurus, so your underlying energy. Sorry, my cat thinks that playtime apparently is now. So you have the wheel as your underlying energy, which tells me that you have a cycle that's ending and a new one that will be beginning. Please keep in mind, Taurus, when we come to the end of a cycle, it is always the hardest at the very end. It is our greatest test of that cycle, is to see if we can make it through. We cannot finish that cycle unless we are able to have learnt the lesson that specific cycle was trying to teach us. So keeping that in mind, we're going to head right into what the cards seem to be saying. So for your recent past energy, you have frustration and instruction. So this to me is speaking of the frustration card. Feels like you feel like you've been going through a phase, you take 3 steps forward and just to be pushed back 4. You can't make any ground. It feels like everything's up in the air and you just want to get your feet back on solid ground, but every time you try, it's like somebody pulls the rug again. Instruction, I feel like you've been trying to seek the advice of somebody. You've been asking everybody for any help that you may require, or you are trying to get... You're trying to get help. I feel like you've been asking for help. And that could very well just be the divines intervening or preventing that help, intervening, not allowing that help to come, because this could be a phase where you have to learn how to find your own footing on your own. Independence might be the lesson that you're trying to find. Your current energy is mirror and insecurity. So having just come out of, or just coming out of, or just about to come out of this type of energy, the idea of you feeling insecure is not a far stretch. Anybody who has struggled in that energy for any amount of time would be incredibly insecure and incredibly worried about if they had been making the right choices, if they are capable of making the right choices moving forward. The second card you have for that energy is Mirror. Mirror speaks to making sure that you're not repeating the past. You don't want your future to reflect your past. Your past is your past for a reason. You've learned those lessons. We don't need to carry any of that emotion. We don't have to carry any of that negativity. We don't need to carry that forward into our present, much less our future. Doing so is just staying within that cycle. And you're with the Wheel of Fortune being your underlying energy here. I feel like you're being invited to start a new cycle. Allow that to happen, because you don't want to have to stay in this past energy. Your future energy is the Ancestor and the Archer. The Ancestor is about wisdom, is about learning, is about guidance. You've learned a lot. You've been through so much lately, Taurus. You've learned these lessons. These lessons, you're a quick study. You know what you are to be taking from this past cycle. You just have to choose to do so. You need to implore your wisdom and look back and take your time to reflect and to really pull the information from the past so that your decisions going forward reflect the wisdom that you have. The Archer is about taking initiative. It's quick moving. It's decisive. It's precise. It knows exactly what it wants and it goes for it. Your possible outcome is fulfillment, or the Blasted Oak. And the reason I'm saying or, typically I feel like two cards speak to one story, but in this scenario they're completely opposites. So fulfillment is just that. It is the fulfillment of one cycle flowing into the new cycle, taking what you've learned from the past, applying it to the future. Because there is a very big difference between repeating the past and using the past knowledge to guide future endeavors. The Blasted Oak is a blend of two cards in the traditional tarot deck. It's a blend of the Hangman and the Tower. So the Hangman is about making decisions. It's about observing and looking at things from a new point of view. And the Tower is the end of a cycle and the beginning of a new one. So I feel like if you choose to end the cycle you were just in, you will have reached the fulfillment that will enable you to start the new cycle. I feel like if you aren't capable of releasing those old energies and you feel the need, the desire, the want to hold on, you're bound to perform this cycle again. However, at some point, destiny steps in and makes a big Tower moment happen in order for you to learn the lesson. And when that happens, that lesson is learnt in a harder way than necessary. So I would just like to quickly clarify this ancestor for you, and then we'll pull your oracle cards. Ancestor, can we clarify the ancestor for Taurus, please? Clarify the ancestor card for Taurus, please. That one popped out, then this one, then these ones. Okay, so you've got the wolf. Tradition, abundance, jealousy, injustice, and responsibility. So sometimes when we are in the throes of frustration and insecurity, and even in a blasted oak moment, it is very easy for us to believe that things are happening to us. Why is this happening? How could this be happening? What did I do to deserve this? When you feel those things, though, the unfortunate part is we have to remember that life doesn't happen to us, it happens for us. And so jealousy and insecurity, if you've made these emotions your tradition, meaning that that's your fallback to, that's your go-to, that's what you instinctively resort to. As soon as something happens, as soon as you feel like something's not going well, if you fall back to these points of jealousy because people don't have to struggle the way you're struggling, or injustice because how dare I have to deal with this, if those have become your tradition, then ending this cycle is going to be impossible without having a blasted oak moment, because you're not going to be able to take the responsibility that you need to take. Because what this is telling me is once you give up these hard feelings that you have instilled as a new tradition for yourself, and you take responsibility for the things that the way you've been feeling, the mistakes you've made, you responsibly look at how you can be going forward, you are going to be able to empower the wolf's strength of endurance and the hunt and the victory and the valor and the integrity that this wolf stands for. And you'll get the abundance you desire because you're going to be doing it from a place of integrity instead of a place of jealousy and injustice. These things don't attract abundance. You're just attracting people into your life who are jealous and insecure and believe that everything happens to them. So I think that what they're trying to tell you with this is that you need to give up what you have traditionally done in the past in order to allow yourself to transition into this next phase, this next chapter, this next cycle, however you resonate best with that term. But I feel like that's what it's trying to tell you, is that it's time for you to just own the past and then release it. Take from it what you need to be able to learn going forward and not allow yourself to live in that muck. But by no means do I mean by that dwell or bring any of that insecurity forward with you. All right? We're going to pull a oracle card. So this is just a message from Oracle. It's just a little something. It's a snippet of wisdom that you can take with you. One card for Taurus. Okay, so you got the High Lady of Love and Compassion. Reverence, kindness, and consideration. And you got the Arrow Master, hitting the mark, intention, detachment. So detach from those nasty emotions, that negativity. Detach yourself from it. It's not serving you anymore. Take your aim. Make your mark. And go forward with the High Lady of Compassion. And a Native Spirit card for Taurus. So you got the Spirit of the Fire. So if you have a fire sign in your life, they may be very well be a really good place of guidance for you. This could also mean that it's time for you to light that fire inside of you to make this cycle end. And you have the Eagle Medicine. And to me, this card speaks of freeing yourself. Freeing yourself of heavy burdens that don't serve you anymore. Releasing the negative to make way for positive. So again, I hope that this resonated with some of you. If it didn't, check your other signs. Please like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in just a few weeks. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful evening. Good night. Blessed be.